Week 5's in the rear view. We're on to week 6, so I think it's a good time to stop, pause, take a look in the mirror, evaluate these NFL teams, and look at them, see them, view them for what they truly are. So it's a pulse check. Get life alert. We're doing this via a tier making. This isn't a power ranking. Though the title says power ranking, hey, you can take this as power ranking, but I established these tiers to get just a general vibe on how we're feeling about these NFL teams, and I'll go through the tiers as we go. We're starting at the bottom, tank for draft position. I love that name for that category. So this is bottom of the bottom. Teams that are like, you know what, we're kind of in a rebuild. We're probably going to lose out. It's time to look forward to the offseason. It's time to look to the draft. And of course, we're going to have the 0-5 New York Jets in that tier. Not much is going right. The team's pretty undisciplined. I would say, even before the season, it's kind of obvious that, okay, the quarterback of the future is not on this roster. We got a lot of things that we're going to need to fix. So, yeah, we're looking to the offseason. It's all right. It's not a terrible place to be. But it is a terrible place to be if you're the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow goes down, season feels lost. You just trade for Joe Flacco. Does he give you some semblance of stability, consistency at the quarterback position? Probably not. Feels like a rough road lays ahead for the Bengals, unfortunately. I do have 2 more teams in this category. The next one, team coming fresh off a win, it's the Tennessee Titans. They know they're not good. It's fine. It's fine. Cam Ward, though, showed some promise in that comeback from behind victory against the Cardinals, no matter how wacky it was. So, yeah, there's a little gumption there. Will Brian Callahan be the head coach after the end of the season? Maybe not, but we know this team, they got a ways to go. And then the final team I'm going to put in here is the New York Giants. Some might disagree with this, but I think you got a rookie quarterback starting right now, Jackson Dart. He's shown some promise, but there's still a lot of mistakes going on, whether it's the offense, the defense. You just gave the Saints their first win of the season. That's right. The Saints, they're not in this tank for draft position category. And I'll explain why in a little bit. But if you're the Giants, you lost Malik Neighbors for the year. I think this is just a year where it's like, okay, let's try to put something good together and see what parts of this team we want to keep heading into the offseason. And whatever we don't keep, we're going to go out and we're going to be aggressive about it, whether it's in the draft or via free agency. Now, the next tier, you could argue, is probably the worst tier to be in. And it's state of emergency. Teams that had some semblance of expectations coming into the year, and right now they look dead in the water. They can't even tell who they are anymore. You could argue the Bengals are that, but I don't know. Joe Burrow's out for the year. Yeah, kiss your season goodbye. Let's just get a good draft pick and then come back healthy next year. I think with these teams, it's more like, oh, we need to flip this around or else heavy changes might be coming. And I want to start this tier off with, well, the Las Vegas Raiders. They're kind of the most obvious one. You're fresh off of drafting a running back in the top 10. A lot of people, they don't like that unless you have the offensive line established. And to be fair, going into the year, I felt the Raiders' offensive line would be trending towards that direction. But little did I know, no, they're actually not that great, especially the right side of that offensive line. The defense is a mess. They've been getting blown out. What they just lost to Indiana Jones and the Colts 40-6. I don't think that's the only 40 burger they've let up this year. Let me just pull this up real quick. Yeah, they lost to the Commanders 41-24. Like, Gino's a hot mess. You brought him in. You gave him a nice little extension. It doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good. It's like, we got Pete Carroll. We were expecting to be competitive and competing. We're not. We're just not. And then, hey, what kind of list would this be if I didn't have my own team? That's right. State of emergency, the Miami Dolphins. It feels like we're going to blow it up, guys. It really does. I think maybe the only parts we bring back are recent draft picks and Jalen Waddle and Tua, just because we're paying him. But maybe he doesn't end up being the long-term solution. I think, unfortunately, we're probably going to get rid of the coaching staff. And I say unfortunately because I think Mike McDaniel, wow, yeah, this is his first stint as a head coach, and it's could have gone better, but I think he's a very gifted offensive-minded coach. And I think Anthony Weaver, if you actually gave him a defense, would be a good DC. Those guys are probably gone. Hopefully that means Chris Greer will be gone. He is a horrible, horrible GM. I think this is just me. I made a video about this a few weeks ago. Dolphins, offseason, buy Tyreek Hill, buy Bradley Chubb, buy Minka Fitzpatrick. That frees up like $58 million for free agency. Ride Tua's contract out till the 2026 season. After that, you could actually get off of that contract. So we could either draft a quarterback in this upcoming class or in the next class. But my long-term plan, unless Tua flips it around, pleasantly surprises me under the new coaching staff, would probably be to look for a higher upside quarterback. That's where I'm at with the Dolphins. You already, as a Dolphins fan, come into the season with no real expectations. Oh, sure, we can be competitive, but we're only going to lose in the wild card. Haven't won a playoff game in 25 years. Just saying. The other team is in this tier. It's kind of obvious. It's the Baltimore Ravens. Again, this isn't a power ranking, or else I'd probably have them higher because I think this team can flip it. They're capable of so much more, but unfortunately, they're so banged up. They're so hurt. Matabuke gone for the year. Lamar Jackson, he's gone for at least the next 2 weeks, and things are just a mess. They're just a mess. The defense looks horrible. I mean, they went out, they just traded Odafe Owe for Alohi Gilman. They brought in CJ Gardner-Johnson. Obviously, you're just not feeling good about the defense. And I mean, they have injuries as well, whether it's Roquan Smith, Marlon Humphrey, probably missing another guy in there. Isn't Kyle Hamilton a little banged up? Is like a groin or something? Yeah. If you're the Ravens, this was supposed to be a season where you're competing for a Super Bowl. You are currently 1-4. It sucks. Before we get back to my power rankings, tier maker, I gotta let y'all know about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Download the app, sign up with the promo code BROSHMO. They match that first deposit up to $1,000 dues. You hear Gojo in the background? He loves it. He's already in on the action. Remember, we got Gojo's picks around here, and he's always picking well. But if you want to get in on the action, whether it be weekly best ball or higher lower on player stats, check out Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code BROSHMO when you sign up. But as always, play responsibly and play within your means. Now we get to this. It's kind of a fun tier. It's, in my opinion, a tier of teams that are bad, but they're competitively bad. They go in and, hey, maybe they can win this game, or hey, they're going to give this team, even though this team is definitely a few tiers above us, we're going to give them hell. And I think teams like the New Orleans Saints and the Cleveland Browns are perfect for this tier. The Saints, you'd be like, oh, they just got their first win, but they've played really well this season thus far, outside of one game where Seahawks just got out in front really early, really quickly. Couldn't do much about it. They've been pretty competitive in every game. I mean, even with the Bills and with the Browns, that defense is phenomenal. Now, Dylan Gabriel, there's a little hope. Maybe we could find a little stability with the offense. So while, yeah, you could easily put them in the tank for draft position tier, and I wouldn't fault you for that, I think it's more so that they're competitively bad. Another team I'm going to include in this tier is actually going to be the Carolina Panthers. I think I'd put them right here. Bryce Young, I just don't know what to feel about him. I just don't, unfortunately. Their offensive line's been a little banged up. You had guys hit the IR, and they should be coming back in the next couple of weeks. Guys like Robert Hunt and such. But offensively, it doesn't feel great. You'll have one week, oh, are we good? Oh, are we terrible? Are we bad? Are we drafting a quarterback? Oh, are we okay? Just beat my Dolphins. Congratulations. I don't think that means much. So Panthers, I just don't know how to feel about them. I really don't. It's a weird spot. Final team in this tier is going to be the Arizona Cardinals, who are finding new ways to lose games. Offensively, this team is tough to watch. Marvin Harrison and Kyler Murray just don't seem to have chemistry, though. I mean, they started out this past week hot with, I think they got a long touchdown on the opening drive, but you lose James Conner, then you lose, oh gosh, why am I blanking on Trey Benson's name? And now it's like, okay, well, yay, Michael Carter, yay, Amani, who probably fumbled the go-ahead, not even the go-ahead, but the touchdown to put them up like 28-3 or 28-6, where it was like, hey, we're going to win this game. But no, it kind of sparked and fueled the Titans' comeback. Yeah, you lost to the Titans. It's a rough spot to be. While I think Cardinals most weeks will be a competitive team, they do tend to lay eggs, and that is because they are birds. And then the next tier up is, are we good? Teams that I don't think have quite found their stride yet, but whether it be offensively or defensively, they have good players, quality players that should allow them to push for a playoff berth. That's probably where I want to be at with those squads. And I'm going to start with the Atlanta Falcons. Defensively, it's a work in progress. Offensively, well, ever since that Carolina game, at least they came out and Michael Penix looked hell a lot better. You still got Bijan, Drake London, breakout season coming. I mean, you could say he broke out last year, but a lot of people like me were expecting, oh, he's going to be like a top 15 wide receiver in the league. And I don't think he's quite there yet. We'll see for the remainder of the year, but this team's going to be competitive. And probably vie. I still think there's a chance they win the division. But I really like Tampa Bay. I really like them. All right. We got the Chicago Bears coming in just ahead of the Atlanta Falcons. This whole season's going to be an experience of what this offense will look like with Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. Will we get some consistency from him? We know he's got the big time play ability there. We've seen it this year, but can they play 4 consistent quarters? Because I don't feel like we've seen that yet from the Bears. Dennis Allen's defense, I think, is coming together quite nice. But yeah, I'm excited to watch the Bears. That's the very least I can say. I don't know exactly if they're a playoff team, but I think they're better than competitively bad. And then I have the Houston Texans, who started the year 0-3. They're on a 2-game winning streak. Congratulations, you beat the Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens, who were missing a whole lot more pieces than Lamar Jackson. You beat them bad. You should have beat them bad. You go into your bye, and you're trailing 4-1 teams like Trevor stumbles twice, somehow gets the game-winning score. Lawrence and Indiana Jones, you're trailing them by essentially two games. So, yeah, we'll see if the Texans can continue to turn around. How much faith will I have in the offensive line moving forward? It was better this past game, but also the Ravens aren't good at getting pressure right now. And even when they were healthy, it was kind of like, So, I don't know. We'll see with the Texans. Are we good? Question mark. I know that defense is. And then one more team I'm going to list here. I'm sure I'm going to get hate for it. It's the Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb. Listen, this even without CeeDee Lamb, this offense is humming as long as Dak can stay healthy. Defensively, it's a mess. That's ultimately why they land in here. Are we good? Well, your defense isn't. Your offense is. Sometimes that's going to be enough. Some weeks, other weeks, it won't. So, yeah, I feel like, are we good? Question mark. That's a good category for them. We love the NFL draft, and now my draft guide is available for purchase. It comes with over 500 player backgrounds and close to 300 player evals. It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So when I add a new eval or I change my rankings, you're going to be the first to know. It's going to have all the pro day and combine numbers along with analytics, and it's a Google spreadsheet for right now. So you have to include your email with the purchase, but we will be switching over to a website at the end of the year. And if you get it now, it's going to be cheaper now than it will be later. It's a great way to support the channel. And as always, much appreciated, much obliged. And then right above that, I have Wildcard Good. Teams that I think will vie for the wild card. They have a good shot at going to the wild card. I don't know if they will make a playoff push though. And that's why I have this playoff run potential. So teams I have here, Minnesota Vikings. Defense is good. Carson Wentz brought some stability to that offense, but I think the offense just has a low ceiling right now at this point. And then the Chargers are right ahead of them, coming off a fresh loss to the Washington Commanders, where they were up 10 and the Commanders scored 27 unanswered points. They're hurt. They're banged up. The offensive line is just a carousel at this point. It's a merry-go-round. Who's going to start next? That's kind of where they're at. Omarion Hampton's now hit IR. So, I mean, Chargers going to Charger, right? Chargers going to Charger. And coming up next, it's the New England Patriots, who dethroned the last remaining undefeated team in the Buffalo Bills this past weekend. Drake May looking good. The offense, I think there is a ceiling on that offense. There's a cap. The offensive line, they're going to face, I think, tougher matchups and not be as good. The pass catchers, cool. Diggs is emerging, but it's about it. Hunter Henry's kind of like the prime target here. Well, that's not fair to say. Diggs has been good the last couple of weeks. Defense has been, I think, pretty solid, and they're getting healthy. So, yeah, watch out for the Patriots. Seattle Seahawks. I'm willing to eat crow. I've never been a Sam Darnold believer ever since the Jets gave up on him. And even last year, I was like, I don't know how much I buy into this. And I think this year's start is proven to be, I go from being a hater to a truther. I think I've become a Sam Darnold truther. I really do. That offense looks mighty good with him at the helm. The defense, they'll get healthy. Okay, we got to put the Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh Steelers up here. High floor, low ceiling. That's kind of where I'm at. They can win games. It's not always going to be pretty. Matter of fact, more times than not, it's going to be ugly. But they can win games. I think under Mike Tomlin, they're always a wild card team. Can they be much more? I have my doubts. Final team I'm going to put up in here is actually a really good team. They are currently 4-1, I believe. Yes, they are. They lead their division. But the San Francisco 49ers are so hurt. Listen, if they weren't so hurt, I might have them in this Super Bowl contender tier. The defense is that good. But offensively, I mean, they were down Jawan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Brock Purdy. Shoot, Mac Jones was banged up leading this squad. And isn't that so? On a side note, Kyle Shanahan, I remember, was it, I think the 2021 draft that Mac Jones got drafted. And everyone and their mom thought that Shanahan traded up to number 3 overall to go get himself Mac Jones. That's what we were all projecting. Ends up being Trey Lance. But now it's come full circle. Mac Jones is here under Kyle Shanahan and has been looking good. Listen, when Brock Purdy comes back and he's healthy, I think it'll be fine. I just need this team to be healthy before I could really invest in them. Now let's get to these teams that are in this playoff run potential. I mean teams that are going to win 1 or more playoff games. At least I think they will. And we're going to start with the Commanders, Washington Commanders, another team. Terry McLaurin, get healthy. I don't know how many of y'all out there have the Jaden Daniels and the Terry McLaurin stack, but I do. I do in fantasy. And I just want McLaurin to be healthy. Goodness gracious. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Hey, I really liked him going into the NFL draft, and he finally got his time to shine against the Chargers this past week. It was kind of his breakout game. And hopefully he could turn that into a breakout season. Defensively, they're gritty, and that's about it. I think better offenses or healthier offenses will be able to take advantage of them. But I think they could go in and I'm not going to say they make a run like they did last year, but I think they can win a game or two. Ahead of the Washington Commanders will be Indiana Jones and the Colts. I was saying this with Sam Darnold. I've been a Daniel Jones, a Danny Dimes denier since the moment he got drafted. I think I had him as a day 2 quarterback going into that draft, but it sounded like the Giants really liked him, so I projected him to their second pick in the first round. I think it was like pick 17, and he ends up going at what was it, pick 5 or 6? So yeah, I've been a Danny Dimes denier for quite some time. Look at that alliteration. But golly, new scenery. And we've seen quarterbacks who have honestly injected some life into their career with a change of scenery. I mean, just again, you just could look at the list here with like Geno Smith did it in Seattle. I know it's not looking great for Las Vegas, but he did it. We got like, I guess Joe Flacco, but not really. But Sam Darnold did it with the Vikings last year. Now he's playing well for the Seahawks. Mac Jones has kind of done that in San Fran thus far this season. Carson Wentz is probably looking to do that maybe. But yeah, new scenery and Daniel Jones, he feels like more of, I don't want to say a different quarterback, but he had such a wide range of outcomes as the Giants starting quarterback. And I think honestly, a lot of that also had to do with just the dumpster fire of an organization the Giants have been past years. And I think probably a lot of that had to do with it. But yeah, he comes to a more stable, and I didn't even think the Colts were that stable of a landing spot, but Coach Lou has radically changed this defense, and they're feisty. I like it. But yeah, I don't know if I'm a truther yet, but I'm not going to be clowning Danny Dimes anytime soon. Right ahead of and honestly, I have him this low because I think if this was power rankings, they'd be at 10. Probably, I have him this low because Danny Dimes is their quarterback. So, what can you say? Yeah, sometimes you just can't take the hater out. All right, we got the Rams a spot ahead. This is a good Rams team. I know they lost to San Fran this past week, but I think more times than not, they're going to be very, very good. I mean, if you want to argue the Niners should be ahead of the Rams, they have the head-to-head. They have the better record. But I feel like long-term, Rams are probably the healthier team. Fingers crossed. I don't know. We'll see. If you're like, hey, you're stupid, the 49ers being behind the Rams, I get it. But I don't know. I trust the Rams moving forward. They play everybody tough. That's just who they are. And then we're going to put the Kansas City Chiefs. Kind of feels dirty not to put them in the Super Bowl tier, but you're 2-3. And I get it. The regular season doesn't matter for the Chiefs, but it matters for tier rankings and power rankings. I can't put you that high. I just can't. But I know regardless of what seed you are in the playoffs, you're probably going to make a run. And I said it going into the year. I was banking on this being a year that the Chiefs were unseated as the representative for the AFC in the Super Bowl. And I still stand by that. So yeah, we're going to put you in playoff run, but you're only in this because you're the Chiefs. And again, regular season doesn't matter all that much. I do have actually quite a few teams in this tier because, I mean, you could only have so many Super Bowl contenders, right? Right? Maybe not. Maybe not. But Super Bowl contender, let's call them front runners. We're going to change the title. Front runners. All right. Who are we going to put ahead of the Chiefs? Probably the team that beat them. Jacksonville Jaguars. I've seen this Jaguars team before start the season hot and then have it just burst out into flames. Trevor Lawrence just needs to be consistent, man. I never know what Trevor Lawrence we're going to get. Is he finally going to emerge as a top 12 quarterback in the league ever since getting drafted in 2021? I don't know. I don't even know if I'm referencing the right draft. 2021 NFL draft. That's how unsure I am. No, it was Trevor Lawrence's draft. Good. What I do know, they're fun to watch. I wish Travis Etienne would get the ball more because I feel like he deserves to because he's been really good. And especially in the passing game. Trevor Lawrence, take a check down. Throw it to your old mate from Clemson. That was a problem against the Chiefs. But I like the defense here, man. I like the defense for the Jags. And I'm willing to say, yeah, I believe this Jags team could maybe win a playoff game. Ahead of them is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I love the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I believe in Laser Mayfield. I believe in this squad so much, even if the defense isn't all that in a bag of chips, even if they do allow over 30 points every here and now, even if they have a defensive-minded head coach whose defense isn't all that great, I believe in the offense. They're tested. They're battle tested. I think every game thus far this season, or at least a good majority of their games, have been one-score games. Falcons, they won 23-20. They beat the Texans 20-19. They beat the Jets 29-27. That was crazy game. That was the week that all the blocked field goals happened. They lost to the Eagles 31-25, and then they beat the Seahawks 38-35. They are legitimately in one-score games every week, and they are 4-1. Now, yeah, no, I don't think that's a winning formula, but they're battle tested. They're not even fully healthy. Tristan Wirfs still coming back. Mike Evans will be back eventually. Bucky Irvin back eventually. So even other parts of that offensive line. I think Cody Mock's out for the year. Who else is banged up? Is it Ben Breedson? I don't think it's Breedson. Or is it their other tackle? Is it Goddard? I think Goddard went to IR a few weeks ago. I don't know. They're going to get healthy, though. Now we're going to go with kind of the opposite of the Bucks. Kind of not really, though. Defensively, one of the best teams in the league. They create pressure. Doesn't matter how good your offensive line is. Bo Nix. Whoa, he's a gamer, man. He's a gamer. Absolute gamer. Coming out, and they beat the undefeated Eagles in Philly, right? Or am I misremembering history? No, yeah, that game was in Philly, and they end up winning. And you want to talk about another team that's that you can say is battle tested? I think it's this Broncos team. Look at their last few games. Again, really aside from that Bengals game, and I mean the Titans, they kind of let the Titans be in that game for too long. I don't think it should have been that close, but it was the season opener. But technically, yes, Titans game, season opener was a one-score game. They lose to the Colts by 1 point. I think that was a walk-off field goal. They lose to the Chargers by 3 points, 23-20. But now you come around, you beat the Eagles. I feel like the Broncos are just the defensive version of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I kind of had to put them one after the other. Oh, I tossed and turned. And ultimately, I decided to put Green Bay in the Super Bowl front runners tier. Hear me out. Listen. They have Micah Parsons. He's been freaking phenomenal. Great trade on their part. And the defense, I think it'll all start clicking. They've kind of had down weeks and up weeks. I think we've seen a lot more consistency from the offense. And keep in mind, they're missing guys like Christian Watson and Jaden Reed, but Matthew Golden's starting to emerge for the squad. Romeo Doubs is just freaking solid, as consistent gets when he is healthy. So I'm willing to bet on the Packers as a team that's going to be there in the NFC Championship game. Right ahead of them is the Detroit Lions, who, man, they've scored 34 or more points in every game aside from the season opener, I believe. Yep. So in the season opener, where they lost to the Packers, by the way, they have since then scored 52, 38, 34, and 37. Now they face the Chiefs in Arrowhead, once formerly known as Burrowhead. I remember a game not too long ago where it felt like this was the arrival of, watch out, these are now the Super Bowl contender Detroit Lions. It happened in Arrowhead. It was the first game to kick off the season. Lions won that. Just saying. All right. Right ahead. I only have 2 teams left, so just make this quick. Philadelphia Eagles, Buffalo Bills. I would give the Bills an edge here. Both teams lost in the closing moments of their respective games and lost their undefeated record. But for me, the Bills, when they're not shooting themselves in the foot, it just offensively feels like a more consistent team. The Eagles, it's like, what half are they going to play well and what half are they not going to play? Feels like they need to get the play calling's kind of funky, where Saquon, maybe it was because Saquon was dealing with some soreness, but he only had 6 carries in a game you lost. Yeah, no kidding. But A.J. Brown hasn't been really involved. Devontae Smith just started getting involved a couple of weeks ago. It's felt weird for the Eagles. And with the Bills, man, I think they've been great week in and week out, even in a loss to the New England Patriots. That's a good New England Patriots team. Maybe I should have scrolled up so you could actually see who I'm talking about, but it is what it is. We're here now. But yeah, I think these should be your 2 teams, 2 front runners for the Super Bowl. So there's my tier maker. There's my power rankings. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.